All right. Welcome back to All Cars React Show. My name is John, and it's time for another Motorweek Retro Review reaction. And this week I have chosen the 2011 Infiniti M. Now, I've done this for a very specific reason, and part of that is my frustration, let's say, with Infiniti and their product planning over the years. We'll get into that a little bit more, but this is a vehicle that I don't think it sold well. I don't think it was very well appreciated, and I absolutely love it. So, as always, make yourself comfortable in your comfy chair. Grab yourself your beverage of choice. We've got some leftover decaf here. And let's take a trip just about 13, 14 years ago and see what Motorweek said about the Infiniti M back in the day.
Infiniti dealers have been begging for a new halo car ever since the ponderous Q Series was retired in 2006. While Infiniti had hoped the somewhat smaller M Series would play the part, its reviews as a showroom star have been lackluster at best. But now that may change. The M Series is again reborn, and it finally looks like it just might master the part. So let's raise the curtain and see how it acts.
Well, that's an interesting start, saying that first off, the Q Series was ponderous. I guess they're talking, well, because when it was released, it was, second to the Lexus LS, but more athletic, more in the BMW realm. So I guess they're talking about just what happened to it over 15, 16 years of development. Then to say that the M Series, which is more like a Mercedes E-Class, was going to take that halo car, no. I mean, a halo car is an Acura NSX, right? It's a Gullwing Mercedes. It's something like that, not a mid-sized large sedan. Previous M, I should probably do a video on that one day. Interesting car, very, very powerful option. Not very good looking. But let's see what they say here.
In Japan, it's called the Nissan Fuga. Here in the States, it's called the 2011 Infiniti M. Regardless of its badge, this redesigned premium four-door sedan retains the swoopy, long hood, high rear deck form for which the M Series is known, but now adds sleeker design language to project a more expressive, upscale, and substantial image. Wheelbase is unchanged, but the M Series is now slightly longer, wider, and lower than before. A new low-slung grille is flanked by swept-back crystal-look headlight clusters. The profile is defined by deeply sculpted fenders and flowing wave-style doors. But the M's brawniness comes from its chunky C-pillar area, which almost gives the car a jacked-up muscle car vibe, completed with sporty dual exhaust. Exhaling through those pipes are a pair of stronger engines.
But before they go on to the engines, let's go back here a little bit. All right, so I like how they said that it has a more substantial feel. One of the things I've talked about is cars that they look thin. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm sure that stylists have some special word for it, of course, but they just don't look substantial. They don't have a presence. And one of the problems with Japanese cars is they tend to look a little Japanese. If you think about a luxury brand and you think about Mercedes and BMW, Audi, even Jaguar, and then some of these things come out from Japan and they just look a little funky sometimes, at least in my eyes. And Jaguar certainly has done that. You think about the J series, for example, the J30, I think it was. Gorgeous car for 3/4 of the view, but some people really, really hated the rear end of it. And it basically was a car from another part of the world. And they just said, here, congratulations, you've got an Infiniti. I love this car. This M Series right here, this redesign. I hate that Infiniti has given up on cars, number one. But number two, I hate that they didn't develop this design language more than they did. Now, maybe they have in their SUVs. I don't really see it, but I think this is great looking. I think this is athletic. I think it's organic. I think it's substantial. I love this car, and I love its styling. Now, I did a few weeks ago, I did the Q, I think it was the Q37. I don't remember now, which is very old, very long in the tooth. And they really missed it on a few things, like the steering, for example, and just where the A-pillars were. But a gorgeous, gorgeous car. I still see them, and I still think they're some of the best looking Mercedes C-Class competitors out there. I absolutely adore them. And this, I love it even more. The only thing I would complain about here is because they were restrained on the grille. They were restrained on the headlights. They were just, I think it's gorgeous, except the taillights. I think the taillights lack just a little bit of presence. It looks very Nissan Altima, versus more substantial, but it's a minor complaint. So yeah, I'm a huge fan.
This redesigned premium four-door sedan retains the swoopy, long hood, high X. Horsepower G's 3 points. The M37 sports the G's 3.7-liter V6. Horsepower is 330, an increase of 27 over last year's 3.5 V6, and torque is 270 pound-feet, up 8. The M56 uses a direct-injected 5.6-liter V8. About a quarter larger than the previous 4.5 V8, it rates 420 horsepower, a big jump of 95, and 417 pound-feet of torque, up 81. The lone transmission is a 7-speed automatic with adaptive shift control, feeding either the rear wheels or all four on X models. Remarkably,
okay, before they move on, let's talk about that. I have absolutely no problem. My preference would have been the V6. I really respect that engine. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's the VQ engine, right? That they used for so long, and it was award-winning. Really like that engine. The V8, I don't have an opinion about it one way or the other than just gobs of power. And a 7-speed automatic, 2011, 7-speed. Okay, admittedly, I don't like odd numbers, but no problems here. No problems at all. And offering an all-wheel drive option. Solid mechanicals, I think.
The big boost in power, fuel efficiency is up too. Government fuel economy ratings are 18 city, 26 highway for the M37 and 16 city, 25 highway for the M56. A new feature, Eco Pedal, provides feedback to encourage efficient driving. Infiniti claims a 5 to 10% economy gain. But a bigger increase comes in performance. The M feels much stronger. We judge the M56 to be capable of 0 to 60 in under 5.5 seconds. That puts it in the league of the Mercedes-Benz E550. Still, after testing both engines, we found the V6 to be more than adequate for most buyers. With the V8, there's more power, but the front end also felt heavier and less responsive. The new drive mode selector adjusts throttle response and shift points to one of 4 settings: standard, eco, sport, and snow. The front double wishbone rear multi-link FM chassis remains, but with a new back-end geometry. The sport package, only offered with rear drive, brings tighter tuning with upgraded springs and new double piston shocks. It also adds 4-wheel active steer for greater nimbleness. Infiniti's intelligent all-wheel drive system is geared more for routine all-weather driving, unlike Audi's more performance-spec Quattro setup. Still, optional active trace control, which can adjust engine torque and braking at all 4 wheels, does help to smooth out turn-ins. Brakes are enhanced too, but only with the Sport package, which brings larger rotors with 4-piston calipers front and 2 pistons rear. So we judge overall dynamics to be both more sporty, yet still luxurious. Neither soft and Lexus-like or taut and BMW-like. Rather, the M is smack dab in the middle.
What a fascinating list. First off, the FM platform. That's what underpinned the Z car, FM front midship. And it meant the engine was back further. That's why they ended up with these long hoods for better weight distribution. but it also underpinned the G series, like the G35 or the G37, so they actually could stretch it and turn it into this solid platform. I'm really a fan of it. Then, offering all-wheel drive for more secure handling. But did you pick up there, in addition to a modestly complex suspension setup, active steering was an option. Torque vectoring. This is a lot of, maybe it's all optional, but a lot of equipment to make this as competitive as possible. This is a moment in time, a snapshot when Infiniti was really trying. Can't always say that about them.
The interior also benefits greatly from the M's new design language. It now looks like a top-drawer sedan. From the twin-hump instrument shroud to the step center console, the look and feel is both athletic and luxurious. The leather front seats have standard 10-way power with optional heating and cooling. Sport package brings added bolstering and a sport steering wheel with available heat. New comfort features include active noise control and forest air, which manages airflow and humidity to mimic a fresh breeze. Higher end options include navigation with satellite traffic and weather, a backup camera, a 9.3 gig hard drive music box, and a Bose stereo. The rear seat is roomy for 2 adults, 3 in a pinch. The rear seat does not fold, but there is a pass-through which leads back to a spacious 14.1 cubic foot trunk. For advanced...
Okay, so moving from the back forward, as I like to do, trunk 14.1, I don't know, that strikes me as just ever so slightly tiny, half a cubic foot, a little too small, especially when you have a rear seat that doesn't lay down. I mean, the pass-through's fine for long objects, but I don't know. That's really, really nitpicking. I admit it openly. If you're a longtime viewer, you know what I'm going to say about this interior. It's black dash, black seats, black carpet. I want a little bit more brightness and lightness added to it. However, that's where my complaints stop. I love this interior. I really, really love this interior. Even the gear shifters, this little stubby thing. I love it. The controllers for the different drive modes and the style of the dash. And 2 things I'll say there is, first off, that 9.3 gig music hard drive. That's pretty cool. I'll admit, I don't remember hearing about that back when this was new. But the biggest thing to me is the wood adds a little bit of luxury to it. Something that Infiniti really missed in their earlier cars, especially the Q. And right there where the infotainment is, and we can pick on that being out of date, but it's 15 years ago. And that section of the dash, it's like this, right? It's not this. It's a little, but it's not a ledge. It's this. In pictures, I didn't like it. But to actually see one of these cars and sit in it, I loved it. I think it was absolutely fantastic. I don't know why it went away. I thought it was a good ergonomics and a way that differentiated their interiors with the simplest of things. I truly love this car, and I love the interior. I think it's I won't say it's a knockout. I will say, however, it is thoroughly competitive, in my humble opinion, in its class.
Safety technologies, the M offers distance control assist, intelligent brake assist, and blind spot intervention. A world first, it uses selective braking to correct lane drift. Pricing starts modestly for its class. $47,115 for the rear drive M37, $49,265 for the M37X. The M56 has a base of $58,415, while the M56X begins at $60,915. A V6 Hybrid M is due for 2012. While it still takes up a little less pavement than most flagship sedans, the 2011 Infiniti M gives up nothing in style, accommodations, or performance to rivals. The curtain is up, and Infiniti's new star is more than ready for a command performance.
So I'll admit, they could say that's competitive for its class, but $47,000 for the base model, I don't know, that strikes me as high. It really, really does. I wish they'd done a comparison there, talking about say the 5 Series and the E-Class, and where this actually fits price-wise, because it's an $11,000 jump up to the M56. The overall, and I've said this before about Infinitis, this just makes me kind of sad, because there were moments in Infinity's history where they were super focused. And, the equipment level on this, a world first in keeping you in your lane. It's not something I necessarily would want, but they were there. And they also said it took up a little bit less space than some of its competitors, but I don't remember them really giving dimension to that. If they say it's competitive with an E-Class and like the E550, well, if it's smaller, how is it smaller? How much smaller is smaller? Because this looks like a substantial car. Is it a halo car? Absolutely not. Is it a true Q replacement? Of course not. It's not. But I love this car. I think it looks fantastic outside. I think it looks fantastic inside. I really, really, really am a fan. And it's just sad that not only did Infiniti give up on this car, they let the Q37, I guess it is, languish around forever. And its very obvious flaws they did not try to address, while they pump out an SUV and then let it sit forever too. So Infiniti's history is putting a lot of effort into something and making it really good and then not following up. It's a lot of their history is, oh, we need a smaller car. Well, here's the G20. Sure, it looks like a Sentra, but at least we offered something in that class. Oh, here's the J30. Oh, here's the i30, right? It's a Nissan Maxima. Nice car, good car, but is it a luxury car? I don't think so. So this whole thing just is, what the heck? What the heck is wrong with Infiniti? Is it the leadership of Infiniti, or as I suspect, it's the leadership of Nissan, not willing to make a consistent year-by-year, multi-decade investment into building a luxury brand? And I believe part of that is because it's not a worldwide luxury brand. This is not Mercedes or BMW or Audi or even for that matter, Jaguar. This is mostly America, and they're just not willing to put in the effort for it. I hope that changes with the new leadership. If they right the ship and they don't go bankrupt, I hope they fix it. But unfortunately, I think the days of this car and the G series, I think it's gone, and I find that to be a great, great shame. So, as always, thank you so much for spending just a few minutes with me here today. If you had one, or you have a opinion of one, or you knew somebody who had one, if you got an opinion, let me know in the comments below, because in the big scheme of things, think the Mercedes E-Class is just about perfect, and I think it has been since the 80s. If I had lottery money, I would still just buy an E-Class for my day-to-day driving. But back here at this time, I'd be really tempted to get the Infiniti M. That's how much I like it. Thanks for being here, y'all.